record again. All right, let's let it start. Peter and Sue Meyer, nice to see you guys this morning. Thank you so much for joining me today. As I mentioned, you guys, this is just an informal little chat. I just kind of want to chat with you guys a little bit about your business there, and just appreciate you joining me today. So thank you very much.
Thanks for the chance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you guys, tell me this. What made you want to join Been There, Dump That? What made you want to become part of the Been There, Dump That family?
Sure.
Do you want to tell the story about how we met?
Yeah. Peter. Peter had been in his corporate job here in Omaha, which brought us here for a handful of years, was feeling like he might be ready for a change. Had, in hindsight, in late 50s in age, thought, I wish I had done something on my own. I wish I could have started a business. We heard about the concept of dumpster rentals, and we were on spring break and met a couple from Michigan, and they mentioned someone they knew who was quite successful in a dumpster rental business, mentioned the name of the company. We went back to our hotel room, Googled Omaha, saw that there was no presence there, and literally jumped on the opportunity. And the reason we thought it was such a great one is...
And two things, Ben Bosch is the person who they knew. And so that's how we had that initial connection. Even before we met that couple and talked about running your own business, I had talked to a guy probably going back several years ago about a dumpster business, and I loved the simplicity of the model, that it's not complex, that you're not dealing necessarily with cash or receivables, it's going through credit card, and that it's simplistic in you're picking up or delivering a dumpster. And that's really the extent of what you deal with. Now, obviously, there are numerous variables to work through, but I like that simple business model.
And it's a service and product that we all need in our lives. And hopefully we're offering something that people need and offering it better than others because they can go elsewhere to get that. And we love the idea of building a nice, cohesive, small team working together. And we're both in our late 50s. Peter will be 60 in January. It's been kind of neat for our kids to see that we can reinvent ourselves throughout our lives, and never thought we'd be able to work together, but we're doing it pretty well.
Oh, with the side glance from Peter right there.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, you guys. Well, I got to tell you, of course, you know how happy we are to have you on board, and you know, it's been fun as your coach. It's been fun to watch you guys kind of go through the ebbs and flows of business and the like. So remind me, you guys, when did you guys open for business? How long have you guys been in business now?
It's been just shy of 2 years. Our actual first dumpster delivery was August 22nd of 2018.
3 days from now, 2 years. Yep.
Okay.
I'd also like to reiterate the other thing I think really sold us on this company is you and the corporate team. The touches that we had, and immediately we thought this is a group of professionals. They are hardworking and they're kind.
And transparent. I mean, we were shocked that, and early on, John, Val, others were so open with the good, the bad, and the ugly. And they shared with us what the business experience would be. And then they said, we're going to send you a list of other people that you can call. We thought they might give us 2 or 3 names. They gave us basically carte blanche to call whomever. And after talking with, I'm going to guess 5 or 6 existing franchise owners, we felt really comfortable with the idea that this would be a place we would really thrive and wanted to be a part of.
Excellent. Well, good. I'm glad that, thank you for that. You know, we do work hard here, but we love what we do. It's really easy to do your job when you've got great people like yourselves. And yeah, I mean, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There are some things that you got the twists and turns, and you work through it, and you have us to work through it with. So, yeah, thank you for saying that. We appreciate that. And yeah, so you guys had a good start there, so that's good. I want to get into a little bit more of, you have the regular ebbs and flows of your business, right? You guys are brand new. You're working hard, you're following the business model. Um, you get the dips with weather. I mean, you're in Omaha, so you get the snowstorms and the snow that stays around forever. Then you get this flood, which we all know, while tragic for many, it means that we as a company get to show up, we get to help. And what that means is your trajectory of business just went off the roof, right?
Mhm.
Awesome. So that's awesome. And we know that you guys had your challenges there with just making sure that you could continue to provide service to your customers and all that great stuff. So that happens, and then burnout starts to happen. I want you to talk about that. So I know that you went from, okay, kind of treading water, swimming. We get drowned because of the flood, and we're working really hard, and business is booming, and then business quit booming. And I want to talk about that. So how do you think you went from the great flood to, okay, man, I'm not sure if we're making any money. Tell me,
Mhm.
tell me how that kind of came about.
Mhm.
I think it's, and I'm sure Sue will
Yeah.
have a comment as well, but initially when we started, it was kind of nice to get busy. And then it was about a year ago, March, this once in a, 100-year event occurred. We were literally just answering the phone, trying to manage incoming phone calls. So what happened is we hadn't prepared in terms of good drivers. We kind of, I was in the truck. That was strike one. So I had to get out of the truck in order for us to be able to wrap our hands around or our arms around our business and manage it. The other thing is Sue is taking all the phone calls. So of course I'm out in the truck thinking I'm doing all the work. She's here taking 50 phone calls a day, and neither one of us is really looking at the big picture. So at the end of a huge jump in business, I think it was March and April a year ago in May, we recognized a couple of things. One is we paused and thought, we're both really tired. We're both very frustrated by our inability to run the business properly for lack of time. And the other thing is, we hadn't put the right people in place. I mean, it's easy to think, well, I'm going to save money and kick the can down the road, but ultimately you need to hire good drivers. You have to have a good dumpster consultant, because that totally changes what you can do. And maybe most importantly, if you start this franchise and drive for 6 months to a year, you got to give yourself a hard stops, as they say, so that you get out of the truck to start managing the business, not being caught up in it.
Mhm.
And I know Sue can reflect, add some color to that.
Well, I remember people talking to other franchise operators saying, get out of the truck as quickly as you can. And it's easy to say that, but when you're trying to manage the business, you've got to make those deliveries. But that is true. Get out as quickly as you can. We were taking any jobs, residential or contractor, that we could at first, and we were discounting left and right. Peter and I would play back zero-in calls, and we were howling with laughter at how desperate we sounded. Oh, well, you know what? We can take another $10 off that. You know what? I bet we can take 20 off. We were
Keep
literally
it for
saying,
3
we
weeks.
will pay
Yeah.
you to take the dumpster. Just get it off, get it out of our lot. We realized that you don't want to operate from a fear area. Now, when the flood hit, we couldn't keep the dumpsters in, and it was so refreshing not to have people price shop. But then once that was over, they were price shopping again. We realized we were looking at the wrong number. We were looking at how many dumpsters we were returning each month. We weren't looking at what people were paying for them. And so we were working hard and not making money and not being profitable. So in talking with you and Greg, we realized we're still going to work hard, but we can work smarter
There you go.
by raising our prices, realizing we're not everyone's customer, or every customer is not necessarily the best fit.
Yeah, there was 2 things that happened. I think last summer, we had kind of a come to Jesus moment, in the sense that we recognized the dollars. We were spending a lot of money on equipment. I mean, within a year, we bought 3 trucks, 60 dumpsters, whatever it was. And it took us a while to revisit the KPIs and all of the
Yeah.
profit study that was, took place at the beginning to realize, okay, we don't really know our cost per delivery. We don't really understand our break-even numbers. So we went back last fall and revisited all that. We raised our prices, and we raised them, I don't know, $20 a bin or something. And we went back to the idea that not every customer is a good fit.
Yeah.
And literally we lost two or three, pretty good customers who
Contractor customers.
yeah, who were good from the standpoint of volume, but we weren't making any money working with them. And frankly, we were catering to them to the point where we should have walked away, months before. So we made that clean break. We rededicated ourselves to, and this is going back to last fall when things seasonal, hits and you slow down a little.
Sure.
Calling on contractors, we found people who were willing to, basically, who valued the services that we provide, the attentiveness, the responsiveness, and the attention to detail, so that those people are willing to pay. And you know what? You'll need a handful of them.
Yeah, quality over quantity. The quantity with the quality is obviously the perfect mix, but we need to remind ourselves, Martina, our dumpster consultant, our dumpster delivery experts, we're different. We've got to believe in our product and service and remind ourselves all the time, it's worth a little extra dollar or two for that residential or commercial
It
customer.
absolutely is. I'm so glad to hear you say that, because that's exactly what it is. You guys just hit on some really great points. I think one of the biggest points is that you recognized what was wrong.
Yeah.
And then you figured out, okay, how do we make this work? How do we fix it? So yeah, you call your coach, you get a hold of your KPIs, and you really dig in, and you have to have that understanding so that man, we just realized we're not making any money. We're working really hard here, but we're still, how is it that our gross profit per sale is still under 200? How is that possible? And so I love that you guys made those changes. You talked about these contractors, some of them that you lost. The contractors that you kept, did you reach out to them directly? Is that how did you have a one-on-one conversation with each of them
We did. And
Okay.
it seems to be, there's a lot of ways to talk to people, but in that, because of the price change, we made it a point to call and talk directly with people. We even actually, this is pre-COVID, probably talked to some people in person, and that really resonates with contractors. Once you've established some rapport with them, they like to text, you can do emails, but that personal touch goes a long way, because our competitors won't do it or don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the one other thing, full disclosure, as we're talking here, I do remember pretty specifically getting on the phone with you and Greg and Sue,
Mm-hmm.
and talking, Greg Yan, and talking through, okay, let's take a step back, take a breath, and really look at everything and see where we are.
Yeah.
And through that process, which took some time, and we took probably a good week or two to really delve into some numbers. And we did some assignments that you and Greg gave us to understand what our market was. That really made all the difference. And literally, I'm going to say within 6 to 8 weeks, in spite of the seasonality where the weather was getting colder, things improved. And part of it is just the confidence of knowing that, some people buy a Yugo, some people buy a Lexus. We're offering a service, and it's not for everyone, but for those people who are in our market,
Yep.
pricing has to reflect what we do.
And by selling for a profit and being smarter, it's going to be less taxing on our equipment and our staff, because we still want the volume, but we want quality volume.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that, you guys. Tell me, this is my last question for you guys. I appreciate your time today. Tell me, just, comparing this time last year to today, give me a comparison in profitability versus last year versus this year. Where are you guys at? How you feeling?
I think the first half of this year, we had over $100,000 in net bottom line profit. so that our forecast for this year is a little over $200,000 in profit. Had you told me that a year ago, I would have thought that, maybe you had a couple of drinks before we talked, because I didn't see that happening. And that's kind of one of the nice things is the first 2 years, and we're still just hitting, the end of year two, it is a lot of work, but you also see how things do start churning.
Mhm.
And it's almost like we get, for example, there's a residual effect. We get calls now from people, I rented a dumpster from you, a year ago, and I'd like to rent one from you. Residential repeat business, which I hadn't anticipated.
Mhm.
Well, great. We'll get you that 15. We have a card on file. And by the way, we've raised our prices. Here's the great. Thanks. And look forward to seeing the dumpster. It's just getting easier, and making money doesn't stink either. So that's kind of nice.
And we're paying off the initial investments we made in the business, paying off the equipment, and some of those loans. So we're getting above, we're starting to swim, a little bit of backstroke maybe.
There you
Um,
go.
And we're able to share a little bit of that with our staff, some little monthly bonuses here and there. And once COVID's over, we really look forward to getting back together with all of them in person and just getting to know them better and celebrating a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you guys, I appreciate your candor with me today. Thank you for sharing your story. It's important. It's something that I'm excited to share with the rest of the network. And I know that you've got your buddies in the system, and they may know of this already, but there's others that don't. So again, I appreciate your time and sharing your story with us. And we'll be talking to you guys again soon.
Thank you very much, Leticia. Have a great day.
Thanks for your
Thanks,
guidance.
guys. You
Great.
bet. Take care.